I'll just jump right into it. Tell the audience a bit about your career. How long did you compete for? What did you win and lose? And what was your favorite moment as a competitor?
Okay. So you would like for me to talk a little bit about my career as arm wrestling. What the funny part about that is, as soon as you said my career, arm wrestling was not even like in my mind.
That's the whole reason I'm asking this question.
Yeah. So, I started arm wrestling in 2012. Long story short, Michael was doing the Arkansas State tournament and I was supposed to go help him. I was just going to help him run brackets. And he'd shown me a couple of things on the table, but nothing really serious, right? I hadn't like
Mhm.
actually been practicing or anything. Well, he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, I threw you into the women's." Really? You did that? Okay. So
That's
there were
that's such a funny way to start a career that you weren't even opting in.
no, because had he actually asked me if I wanted to, the answer would not have been yes.
Oh,
So he threw me in, and I think that there were three other ladies, and they were all state champions of either Arkansas or surrounding states. They had history in arm wrestling.
oh.
So I get up there and I lost my first match. And he pulls me over into the corner and he tells me, "All right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to crank your wrist down and you're going to pull straight back.
Did
And
he
then you're
tell
going
you
to
to go into a King's move?
no, crank my wrist down, pull straight back, fall over sideways."
Okay.
So my next match came up, and remember, I'm on the B side. My
Uh-huh.
next match came up and I won.
There you go.
And the next one won that too.
And she was the state champion, or this was someone else?
Yeah, they were all state champions somewhere,
Okay,
right?
yeah. So
So
this was not a low level competition. This
yeah,
was some
no,
serious
these
competition.
ladies were arm wrestlers. So then I had to go back up to face again the girl that had beat me the very first time. Beat
Okay,
her. I
there you
have to beat
go.
her again because I'm down one, right? Now she's got,
Uh-huh.
so it's one of those situations.
So it was a best of three, or okay.
No, so if because it's a double elimination tournament and I'm on
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
side, she was undefeated. So I handed her first defeat, like she handed me mine. And then we had to arm wrestle again to decide
All
who was
right.
the state champion. I won.
So
So
basically, first time showing up, didn't even want to join the competition,
yeah,
and you became a state champion.
yes. Yeah. But
Okay,
I was strong because my background was
obviously.
I was a high school gymnast. So gymnastics, were strong, right?
No.
Um, all the way through. So I won. And I didn't think anything past that, but apparently it flipped something inside Michael Todd, and he's like, "I'm going to make you a champion." So,
Well, you already were a champion, to be clear.
and I was happy with that. Like that was it. That was going to be fine for me. Well, over the next few years, I won the state championships every year. Went on to win, I think, seven national championships. To be fair, probably three of those, I maybe only had one person in my class, so
Okay.
ladies is not like winning a national championship as a lady is not necessarily the same as winning as a man because we
Yeah,
just
there's
don't,
much less competition for
yeah,
sure.
there's a lot less competition, but I was still proud of it. And
Yeah.
here's something that a lot of people don't know is that my son Ryan, for a lot of those state and for a lot of those national championships, he also competed, and there were many national championships that we all three won.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. A
yeah.
full
So
family first place. That's rad.
yeah, we were all three also Arnold qualifiers, so we all three pulled at the Arnolds a couple of different years, I think. So yeah, really cool. So what am I most proud of in arm wrestling? Um, Probably my Arm Wars debut, which nobody will ever see because I beat my Swedish opponent 6-0
Okay.
and beat her so badly that Neil said it wasn't good TV. So it never aired, but I've got them.
Do you
I
know
got
who
'em.
the opponent was?
Yeah, Erica Lawrenson. I don't think she's pulling anymore. But the Swedes got their revenge because a few years later I went back and I think I lost my super match 5-1. And I
Okay. So Sweden got revenge on you.
Yeah, yeah. Sweden got revenge on me.
But you're up 7-5 against Sweden. They still haven't. We need the trilogy,
Yeah.
I think.
I'm going to stick with that, and I retired with those numbers, so you can't
You're
ever.
retiring on top. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the way to do it. Yeah.
That was a much better answer than I expected. That was rad. All right. What is your favorite moment or proudest moment watching Mike's career?
Has to be 2017 WAL finals.
And who is he going up against?
Everybody. He pulled everybody that day because he had not pulled with WAL. So he entered the tournament unseated. The guys who'd been pulling were seated,
Ah,
but
okay,
he was
okay.
literally at the bottom. So that day he faced Meteray. You've seen Meterangi, right?
Yeah.
From New Zealand. He Nick Zenna, Dave Chafee, Travis Bagent. I can't remember who else, but there was a lot of people he had to pull. So he took a loss in the beginning to I th was it Dave Chafee? I think. I think it was. Um he took a loss to Dave Chafee, I think. And
Jeez,
then
I'm surprised I don't even remember this.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
but
think.
he had, every person had counted him out for tournament pulling because
Uh,
he was known as the King's Mover
and
and
his style, I mean, is just nightmarish to have to pull over and over and over again. No.
yes, so but his whole thing was that he would wear out his opponents, right?
Hmm.
Well, now you're facing a different opponent each round. So he was not supposed to be able to arm wrestle a deep tournament
Absolutely.
like
No.
that. And even Devin Larratt put out a video saying he just didn't see that Michael had a chance because he just was not cut
Yeah.
out.
I mean, his style is so great for a super match, but like you want like a Dave Chafee or a Travis Bagent type style for a tournament where you just need like as much strength for one go, and then you get like
Yeah,
10 minutes of rest. Michael
yeah.
Todd, that's not what he wants. He wants the exact
So
opposite. Yeah.
right, right. But so Travis Bagent is definitely the type that you want because he's just got that flash go, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, Michael had been, everybody thought, they're just counting him out and it just wasn't going to happen. And there were a couple of snafus during the tournament, but when he faced Dave Chafee, he had to beat him two or three times. I can't remember.
Hmm.
Because WAL had those weird things. Like, was the finals best of three? Maybe. I don't know.
I think WL matches were all best of three off the
I
top of my
think I
head.
think they were for finals. So he had to beat Dave three times, right? Or best of three. So he had to beat him
Uh-huh.
twice.
And 2017 Dave was no pushover to say the least.
No, he wasn't. No,
And
he
neither
wasn't.
and neither was 2017 Travis either.
No, no, but you got to understand that I came into Michael's career in 2011. So I wasn't really there in the beginning years when he was just becoming Monster Michael Todd.
Uh-huh.
I actually showed up when he was who he was, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I had already seen him beat Dave Chafee in an NAL.
Uh-huh.
So when it came down to Dave Chafee, I thought, okay, so we're going to be good. And then it was a grueling 2 rounds. But
Yeah.
when he finally got that final win, it's hysterical because I was standing up on the literal wall, like one of those half walls, like they have in bars. So I was
Uh-huh.
standing up on this half wall, barefoot, because somewhere in my Arkansas girl mind, I thought it was nicer of me and more polite if I didn't wear my shoes up there. So I
For
was,
whatever reason.
so I was standing up there barefoot, and I jumped down to the table below me, pointed at someone. They picked me up and put me on the floor, and I ran over to Michael and just jumped into his arms. So, and that someone took a photo of that, and it's on Artem Taranenko put out a arm wrestling book, and that photo
Is on
made
there.
the cover of that book.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized that this will be 40 minutes. I don't know if I can do another one or if I have to buy premium. I will buy or do whatever to make this as long as it needs to be.
Okay.
Um, I'm actually just going to add a question. So I have 10 questions. I'm adding a bonus 11th. Do you
Uh-huh.
ever wish that Michael's style was a little more like Dave Chafee so it's less stressful to watch? Because I can only imagine having to watch just a flash pin. is way more comfortable than having to watch him go like this, but you know he's okay, but it doesn't look like he's okay and he might break his arm at any second? Or do you like that stress of having to watch him just like grind out something where anyone else's arm would break, but for Michael Todd, he's perfectly comfortable?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this in two parts.
Okay.
First off, I'm just going to, like, you probably would not even expect me to say this.
All
But I was
right.
thinking about this while I was actually getting ready. So if, let's say, do I enjoy watching Michael arm wrestle? As the wife, it terrifies me. Um, and more so, right, since the injury.
Uh-huh. Because you're
So,
always worried about it getting hurt again, I imagine.
yeah, so that the outcome of a match is not really important to me. It's very important to Michael, obviously.
Hmm.
My husband remaining whole through the match is what's important to me. And so I don't enjoy watching him arm wrestle. I enjoy once it's over and he's won,
And we're
and then we can
celebrating the victory
celebrate.
and drinking
Right, right.
champagne. That sounds fun.
I enjoy watching anybody else arm wrestle. I
Uh-huh.
am sick to my stomach when Michael's being called up. So I don't enjoy watching it. However, I do have an example of what you were talking about. Would I prefer that he arm wrestled everyone and beat everyone like he won at King of the Table versus Lars?
Uh-huh.
100%.
That would be awesome. If he
It
just
would
did
be
that every
so much
match. If
better
he did
for
that with
me.
Levon, even just like flash pins against Levon, that sounds
I
great.
don't even care who it is. It would just be so much better for my nerves, for my anxiety. So yeah, of course, I would prefer he arm wrestled like Levon and it was just over
Just
and
instant
done.
flash pins. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Except not counting the Hermes match. The Hermes
right,
match would
right.
be stressful, but anyone else.
But Michael, to a lot of people, is entertainment. That's why he's on the cards, right?
Uh-huh.
So him arm wrestling is entertainment. It's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just because that's my husband, I
Mhm.
don't want to see an injury and I want it over as quickly as possible.
Okay. That's reasonable. That's honestly quite contrary to what I expected the answer to be. I thought you would say, you love watching him compete and all this stuff, but I could see like it may just be just overwhelming stress.
Now, in the live moment, I don't enjoy it at all, but I will tell
Uh-huh.
you, I go back and watch his matches. Like, I can't tell you how many times I watched him versus Lars, how many times I watched him versus Frank.
Yeah.
On this comeback, I just love watching the matches because then I know the outcome and I know that he's not injured. So it's
Yeah.
easier to
So
watch.
injury is the main thing you're worried about in those moments.
Is what? Injuries?
Injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm guessing that's gotten a lot more ever since he tore his bicep. I mean, you have to always be kind of worried it might tear again. So you're gonna it's always in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah,
Or in the front of your mind.
I'm not even worried about the bicep. I'm just worried about anything on the table. It's
Yeah, I mean, Michael Todd,
injuries are disgusting.
yeah, I mean, he'll be in these positions where anyone else would be certainly going to injure themselves. But for Michael Todd, that's a spot. I mean, like
And
against
that's where
Frank,
he lives.
like we're going
Yeah.
to watch later. I mean, there are some gnarly positions in that match where I remember because I was there, I remember
Yeah.
watching it just being like, this does not look right. But when it's Michael Todd, you're not nervous. Anyone else, you're so scared, right?
Right, right. Now I have to watch him and look to him for him to reassure me,
Yeah.
and to know that he's okay. And usually if Paul Lynn's in his corner, it's fabulous. He can let me know he's okay. He's okay.
Yeah, Paul's a very
Um,
level-headed guy, eh?
I love Paul.
He's
I
got to
love
be a great guy. Like I couldn't think of a better corner man of just like a positive, level-headed guy who's like the fiercest advocate for you.
he's just amazing,
I mean, I
He
remember, do you remember during the David Samusha match, he was screaming at the top of his lungs. Do you remember that?
yeah,
Like he
yeah.
was just because he was just riding hard for David Samoshi. He was like, "Don't let him keep his
Yeah.
elbow down, his knuckles high." And I was like, "Dude, I need Paul Lynn in my corner in any situation." Oh my God.
Everybody needs Paul Lynn. Or I'll tell you who is another great corner man is actually my husband because he can watch a match and he can tell either opponent where they need to go to win,
Uh-huh.
just watching it. And that's why he's so great at breaking them down. And in this comeback, he's able to watch his own matches. And it's not something that he really did as much before. He's able
Hmm.
to watch his own matches and see where he screwed up,
Yeah.
where he made bad decisions or bad moves. And I think that that's something that's really good to know as a corner person in arm
Hmm.
wrestling. You know.
I actually heard him talk about that where he was saying like he watched the Gennady match back and he's like, I'm not even climbing. Like, what am I doing? You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
saying?
not one time did I climb. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched him do that and I was like, dude, Mike is
Yeah.
gonna kill Gennady. Like, there's no way. But I mean, we'll get to that later. Actually, there's some questions related to that. We'll get there. Um, what's something about being an arm wrestler wife that people at home will never see?
Ugh. Something about being an arm wrestling wife that people at home would never see. I might have to come back to that one.
We could circle back. Absolutely. I mean, one thing definitely is how much food needs to be made. I think a lot of people probably don't relate to that. You might be so used to it at this point.
Is that an arm wrestling wife or is that just Michael's wife? I don't know.
I
Is it?
mean, that's just a big man wife, is what that
Yeah,
is.
I mean, it's literally I've over the last few years I've gotten to where I make all of his food at once. Like I'm in the kitchen, I make his breakfast, serve him breakfast. While he's eating his breakfast, I'm actually getting the rest of the day's meals together. Or else I would be in the kitchen every hour and a half, and I got shit to do. I
Yeah,
don't have
you have a life to live.
yeah, I don't have time to do that. So that would definitely be one. Just the prep and the seriousness that goes into it. And people that are not competitive arm wrestlers, people that do not treat it as an actual job or a real sport, would never expect that all the preparation goes into the matches that it does.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
is
it's a full-time job.
he literally, it's even more. He literally wakes up in the mornings and his entire day until he goes to bed is about preparation,
Hmm.
whether it's eating, recovering, resting, training, whatever. It's all about the preparation,
And it's so crazy too. It's like you train years and years and years to get someone's arm from here to there. It's
right?
like it's such a simple concept. I'm trying
Right?
to move your arm, what, 12 inches maybe?
Right?
But
And
you can
for
spend a
most,
lifetime trying to get good at moving someone else's arm 12 inches.
right? And for most competitors, that all that training is over in a matter of, if it's a 6 round format and they had to pull all 6 rounds, it's over in probably 3 minutes or less,
Oh
total.
yeah. I mean, the amount
Not
of
like,
time you're even pulling, people can train their whole life and their match is 5 seconds. I mean, like
right?
Devin and Levon, there was months and months of hype, hundreds of thousands of dollars of promotion, and the match was 6 seconds, if that. I mean, it
Right?
was it was so
Right.
it's a very beautiful sport. I mean, it's so fascinating. I love it. All right, so you've been asked this question a million times, and I will ask you it a million and one time, but I will add a twist. So
Okay.
a match with you and Jody, but neither of you train. You both agree, a gentlewoman's agreement. We will not train for the match. We're just going to show up. Would you do it?
No.
You will never put your elbow on the table across from Jody. There's just no way.
Okay. Actually, it's so funny that you asked me this because I was thinking about it up there. I would do it for $20,000. And the reason that I throw that number out there is because someone would have to be completely insane to think that me on an arm wrestling table was worth anywhere in that realm. So that pretty much that is it. Bottom line, somebody
20
wants to throw
grand.
$1,000 at me to show up, not
We're
to win,
putting it out there for 20 grand. Rebecca Todd will arm wrestle Jody Lair.
to show up. $20,000 to show up. That is it.
All right, so on to the next question. What is, or okay, here we go. Who is your second favorite arm wrestler?
Well, that would be my son. But you're
Third
talking
favorite
about
arm
elite
wrestler.
level? You're talking about elite level?
Yeah, yeah. Second favorite elite level arm wrestler. It could be to watch or maybe just as a person.
Yeah, no, see, that is so hard. Because All right.
Could be Paul Lynn. We were talking a big game about his cornering, maybe.
No, no, I'm thinking about super heavies because, if I want to think that it would be who's my favorite arm wrestler to root for, I don't know if you would consider him elite yet, but Corey West, the gorilla,
Uh-huh.
I've loved watching his career, um, and how he's done. But then if you're actually talking about people that Michael competes with, I enjoy watching Devin Larratt.
Devin, yeah.
And Dave Chafee has got to be one of the best individuals that we've ever talked to. I mean, he's so very kind. And then you've got
Uh-huh.
Richard Lupkes. Who doesn't love
I've
Richard?
heard nothing good about Richard, or whoa,
Nothing
nothing
bad.
bad about Richard Lufke's.
No,
Like literally,
he's
anytime I hear about him, he just sounds like the nicest teddy bear, even though he does not look like one. I mean, he
no,
looks
he's
terrifying.
amazing. But then you get to like John Brasink, and when we had him here at our house, I think he stayed here one to two, maybe two times. I can't remember. Um, for Monster Factory events, and we've been on vacation with him. That man, like he enjoys playing, So
Uh-huh.
like we're traveling and stuff and listening to him laugh like a kid, and he loves arm wrestling and will just talk about it nonstop. He will never retire, guys. Understand this. He will never retire.
I
He
actually have
thinks
a
he's
question
going to.
about that later on.
He actually he says he's going to, but he's not going to because he
Yeah.
loves it too
I mean,
much.
he's already retired and been like, I can't do this. I got to come back, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So all of these guys are so very fun to watch. And then Levon, when we were living in Dubai and we spent a week with him, he's so much fun.
Uh-huh.
So much fun, So it's hard to choose a favorite. Like
Uh-huh. Well, you
who
listed a few of your favorites. That's good enough.
yeah, yeah,
Cody. All right. What is the most excited you've been for a match as a fan?
as a fan.
Yeah. And I'm also going to add a stipulation: no Michael Todd matches,
Well,
no
of course.
Todd
Well, I've
family
already told you
matches.
I'm not excited about Michael Todd matches because
I get, yeah, that is true. Those are your
of the
least favorite
anxiety.
matches.
But as a fan, of course, it was Devin versus Levon. And you were there. So round one, not a soul in that arena, not a soul thought that Devin would go on to lose 6-0. I
Well,
thought, I looked around me because we were just expecting it to be whap, whap, whap all over.
yeah,
I looked around me and Michael's next to me, and I can't remember who it was. Oh, uh, Baxter. His name's last name's Baxter, Robert Baxter, I think.
Robert Baxter. Yeah,
That was to my left. And I was like, did you see that shit? Did you see? I was like, oh my God, it might happen.
yeah.
And so
I mean,
it,
we all drank the Kool-Aid in that moment. There was not a single person. Well, I'll say after that had happened, I actually there so I had been speaking with the other VIPs and I was super cocky and arrogant and I knew Levon was gonna win. And
yeah,
I had money placed on him as well, which is why you see me get so excited. And which is also why I was so shocked when it didn't go the way I thought, right? Because I'd put all this effort, I'm like, I know how the match is gonna go. And then it doesn't go the way I expected. I predicted that Levon would have a press.
uh-huh.
Um, I didn't think he would need it in the first round from the center of the table. I thought there may be
That was crazy, wasn't it?
you know what I'm saying? But I was like, a center stop. I mean, you see that face. That's me going, oh shit, this isn't right. But
Yeah.
once I saw he had a press that was that strong, I had my buddy in the audience. God, I forgot his name. It wasn't Ricky. I don't know. He was the guy with his son. And he's pointing at me like, I told you so, motherfucker. I told you so. And I pointed at Levon and I went like this, like saying 6-0, like he's going to win. But that was me feigning a little bit of confidence. Full honesty, I was not very sure in that moment. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, he's got a press. I thought the next round that Devin would hook him, and I thought that Levon would press into the hook, and whatever happened, happened. I thought it would kind of start turning into a Devin and Gennady type match where, Devin can't go outside because Gennady's got a press, so it's got to go into a hook, and whatever happens, happens. That's what I expected to see.
Mhm.
Um, Nobody thought that he would win the next three rounds in a top roll right after getting his wrist cracked. I mean, I don't think there was any less expected a result than Devin
No,
stops Levon in the first round and then gets flash pinned every round after it.
we never thought that he would just go on to get pinned right
Yeah.
away, round after that, you know.
And I think it was probably after the third round, I was like, okay, yeah, Levon's got it. But then I was still like, even in the slip of the second round, you saw it stop in the center just a little bit on that slip. I was like, dude, like you even see me. I look over at my buddy, I'm like, dude, he stopped him right in the center. So it was a funky, funky, funky match. It didn't go the way, I mean, no one can act like they knew that was coming, but it was very, very exciting, very interesting.
Right. And I just wonder how much power, like how much more percentages of power would Devin have needed to make that even closer? You know, like
It
how
could be
much,
20%, it could be 5%. I mean,
who knows?
I don't
And
know.
that's the way it is in arm wrestling because
Uh-huh.
something can look, a match can look like, oh my God, they killed him when actually it's because he was 3% stronger in one area and it
Like,
allowed,
dude, watch Sergey and Matt Mass. Did you see that match?
I'm sure that I did. I cannot remember it.
Sergey flash pins him round one, two, three. He gets stopped a little bit, and then he loses three in a row. And
Yeah.
round seven, he flop presses him. But I was thinking when I watched that match, I was like, dude, if this would happen at East versus West, it's oh, Matt Mask sucks and he loses to everyone.
Right.
Because it happened in a 4 round, it's wow, Matt is almost as good as Sergey Kalinichenko. So
Yeah.
it's like, dude, sometimes like a
Yeah,
match
sometimes,
needs one more round. I'm not saying Levon was about to lose, but like there are matches where it looks like it wasn't even close, and you add one more round, and it was an incredible war. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. So
So
what I saw with that, and thinking about it now is that, and I know Devin says that that was it. There won't be more. I think
he
that
said that the first time.
yeah, I think that he gained enough knowledge that there are some things that he could work on and change and make it a closer match, you know,
Maybe. I
because
mean, he's
it was a big
certainly
difference from the first year to, the repeat.
I mean, he learned something the second time. I don't think he learned a
He
lot
always
the first time. The first time, I think he learned, fuck, I gotta get stronger. The second time, he learned, okay, I gotta quite a bit stronger. And okay, I think the second time he learned 10 times as much as the first time.
I'm sure he did. Sure
Yeah,
he did.
and knowing him, he probably just could grab his hand randomly and just go, oh, okay, okay. He's always downloading information, right? Do you ever think Mike will retire? And if so, why?
Yes. No, no. If your definition of retirement that he quits arm wrestling altogether, no. He is never going to quit arm wrestling altogether. And he's even said it publicly on video that, and I've seen this to be true, arm wrestlers have to die on the table. There is no way that they're going to just walk away. Now, will he always compete at the level that he's searching for right now? Of course not.
Definitely not. Yeah.
You cannot be a 70-year-old man and chasing number one in the world.
I could see him being 70 and competitive in a weight class though. I mean,
Oh, definitely. Definitely he can do that,
I'll say even
Sure.
if he isn't competitive in a weight class, I will guarantee he's going to be trying at a minimum. He's going to be trying to be competitive in a weight
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, the only thing that would keep him from doing it, that I can see would just be, you know, uh, frailty or, injuries or perhaps someone has offered him a sponsorship in running obstacle courses because he loves that shit. So I
Yeah,
could see him doing something like that.
but he will
But
be a competitor forever.
yeah, yeah, short of something weird happening, Michael Todd would be arm wrestling up until we're getting ready to plan his eulogy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could see the only way he would stop is just like overwhelming injuries. Like it would
yeah.
just need to be, and I say that, and he has had overwhelming injuries, and he comes back anyways. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like overwhelming injuries, the arm is broken, the biceps torn, tricep torn.
Oh, keep that juju away from me. Do
Oh
not
my
do
God.
that. Yeah.
But it would like, and I even think then all he would do is just shoot it up with some stem cells, and he'd be back in 6 weeks and just trying again.
Or if
So
someone at that point will have some situation where he can grow a totally new arm. I don't know.
So I had a question here that you already answered on accident, which was, what's the
Oh,
most nervous you've ever been before a match? But we've definitely heard you've been nervous before matches.
uh-huh.
Um, I'm gonna switch it to what's the most nervous you think Mike's ever been before a match?
Uh, I'm gonna say 2017, his super match versus uh Andre Pushkar.
Hmm.
Yeah, because the reason I'm saying that one, he had spent his prep bulking, and it was a dirty bulk. It was not good clean food. And so Michael's confidence is a lot in his athletic shape.
Hmm.
And if he doesn't feel like he's in an athletic shape, his confidence isn't there. And I had to compete that morning at Zloty. Me and my son were both competing. And then he was in he was in the auditorium as we're getting ready to do our competitions. We're that morning. He won't be competing till late that evening. And he was so irritable. He was
Really? Wow.
nervous. He was unhappy with his shape. He was nervous, and I'm getting ready to compete. And we've already talked about what I'm like when I'm getting ready to compete. Okay. And he actually looked at me because we're barking at each other. And he looked at me and he said, "This is not about you." I was like, "Actually, it is right now. It's about me. I'm fixing to be on stage competing, you're later." And so that's the most nervous I've ever seen him.
Uh-huh.
Just he felt like he was on a great, like whatever was going on with him that year, it was great. He had won the Arnold, he had won the WAL finals. I mean, it was going good.
I mean,
And
Pushkar is no joke, though. I mean, Pushkar is about as high level of super matches as is possible.
well, and he had beat Pushkar 6-0 right armed.
Uh-huh.
And this was Pushkar's chance, right?
Uh-huh.
To get it back. And Michael wanted to hang on to it. And Michael ended up losing 4-2 because Pushkar figured out that, first of all, he figured out the press. He figured that
Uh-huh.
out round four. I think it was round four. But he also figured out that he could do a professional foul right in the center of the table, get a
Uh-huh.
restart. And then Michael had to take that ridiculous hit extra times, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's the match, or that's the way that match was supposed to go, because we all know we lost Pushkar the next year. So he
Yeah.
took the win with him. So
Well, that's sweet. So if you could make, well, this is a pretty in the same realm. If you could make any match happen using athletes from any time period, what match would you make?
oh, that one for
Put
sure.
Pushkar and Levon?
I would love to see. Well, no, let's go back. Pushkar and Dennis. I would love to see that. I would love to,
Uh-huh.
and then the winner in their peak shape take on Levon. And I know that the thought is among people, especially the newer folks, the thought is that Levon would beat the Pushkar and the Dennis of that time.
Without a doubt, yeah.
But what they do not realize is that Pushkar was always improving. Pushkar was always getting better. Pushkar would
Hmm.
would have only continued to progress because he was a young man. So you're not to say that the prime where Levon is today would be facing that Pushkar that was then.
Hmm.
That would be
That
inaccurate,
Pushkar then was not, it would not have been the same as a Pushkar today.
right? Because he would have continued to progress.
Uh-huh.
It's not like he was just going to stall out and stay there,
Yeah.
you know. So
And I mean,
yeah,
that would have been an interesting match too. Like Dennis and Levon to me is, I think, more interesting than people give it credit for. Dennis had just so much defensive side sticking power. I mean, he was not an offensive guy, and he
he's got
had
a
good
good team too.
endurance. And
Yeah,
he had good endurance.
he's got a
Like
good team too. Yeah.
I'm in the minority in many ways of like, listen, I think Levon would win gun to my head if I had to pick somebody. But people being so dismissive of people like 6, 7 years ago, oh, they're nowhere near the level. Like, dude, the elites, the best of the best 10 years ago are about as good as the best of the best today. I think I heard Engen saying this where he goes, the people aren't better today. There's just more. Like
Hmm.
today, there's 10 good super heavyweights that like shit. All 10 of these guys in 2 years could be facing Levon. Back then, there were like 3 or 4 elite level super heavyweights that were really pushing for the
And
title.
it's
So
not really 10. I mean, you're talking about more like 20, maybe
yeah,
even 30,
I mean,
because
because you've got people like Camille and Michael
you're
Todd,
you're
and
coming out of the woodwork and you're like, who is that guy? Well,
yeah,
he just won or beat somebody over in Russia. I'm like,
yeah, and
where'd
there's
he
this guy,
come
and there's
from?
these like hidden guys in WAF that aren't like. There was a guy, I think it's like Georgi Rostamashvili, I believe it is from Georgia, who like had a pretty good match with Alajon in a hook left-handed.
See, all you had to say was Georgia. That's
Yeah, you take a
yeah,
man off the street in Georgia, he may be the
Georgia.
super heavyweight champion. I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, so the last thing, because we've got it coming up just in like literally 36 hours from the time of this podcast. What are your predictions for King of the Table 12? We're just gonna do like quick, maybe 1 or 2 minutes per match. So
Ugh.
Nugo and RVJ, or do you want to go deep?
No, go ahead.
All
Hurry.
right, Nugo and RVJ.
RVJ.
Wow, that's a bold call. Okay, Devin and Leonidas.
With Devin.
Yep. Do you think Leonidas would win one, or like he could maybe get something, or he's just gonna get manhandled?
Okay. Are you asking me if Leonidas wins one, or are you asking me, do you think Devin will win?
Devin will give him one. These
Okay.
are different questions. Do you
These
think
are,
Leonidas wins one?
I think it is very realistic that Leonidas wins one.
Okay. Camille, or yeah, Camille and Corey West. I know who you're rooting for, but who do you think will win?
This one is so hard to me. And I think so. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be very quick on this one. So I think it's
No problem.
because it's always hard to see, and I think if Corey, like my son, I truly do. Um, it's always hard to see our sons and stuff at a level of where they really are against these people that we've always seen so strong.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know Corey's strong. I know Corey's strong, and I
For
know
sure.
he's capable.
But so is Camille, right?
And Camille starts the match in his press.
Yeah.
He doesn't like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if he's already there, I'm not certain Corey is fast enough. I know he's strong enough. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure he's fast enough.
So you think Corey would have the strength, but Corey won't be able to get Camille right here, which is what you have to get Camille off that center, or you
Right.
got to just be like overwhelmingly strong to just be
Right.
like
And
like Michael Todd's King's move right here
I
is
weigh
so good.
under and Corey does have a left arm King's move.
Does
I
he? Okay.
way underestimated Corey versus Travis. I really did.
Hmm.
And so I was very pleased to be proved wrong there.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's a situation again that he proves me wrong. And things are going really well for him right now in Dubai. I don't know if you've watched.
What's going on in Dubai?
He's bringing home a fiance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just got
He might have a
engaged.
little bit extra energy in that left hand.
That's right. That's right.
All
Yeah.
right. Now, from what I've heard, Corey West is a little more of an open top roll guy on the left arm, and then on the right hand, he's a little more go inside type of guy. Is that correct?
He is more, I think it's more of a sideways top roll. He is not, he can hook if somebody wants to go in a hook, right?
Like
If
him
they,
and Farito Smiley, I
but
believe,
he is
left-handed.
not going to shoot the hook
Hmm.
left-handed.
And I think
That,
this match he's
right.
going to have to shoot the hook because I
Yes,
mean, going outside against Camille is a death sentence.
not always.
Huh? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I would say I'm quite confident Camille would win that match, but like if Corey ran him over, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, because Corey is such an unknown entity. The only match I've seen of him recently, and I know he's treating it much more serious these last few months. The only match we've seen is him destroying Travis Bajan, and we don't know how good Travis Bajan is. So,
Right.
and I had him destroying Travis Bajan because I was thinking, I was like, dude, he's got that huge hand. Travis is going to go outside, and I was like, he's just going to contain it, and that's it. And I remember watching that. I had like a bunch of money bet on Corey, and just I was like, yeah, the moment he won the first round, because I was like, he's good. He's got. I mean, Travis, if he doesn't win that first round, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
So the moment I saw Corey just like not budge off center, I'm like, big man's got it, no issue. And the same
And
thing might happen against Camille. I mean, I could see it.
yeah, and we saw that Camille's endurance was lacking in the last match, even though it was really funny because he told Michael he'd been working on his endurance. What I can tell you about Corey that will shock you,
Uh-huh.
his endurance is not bad. It's really
Really?
not.
Okay.
I've watched him literally run blocks. Run.
Wow.
Yeah, you
That is
know.
funny. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just run. So his endurance is much better than people thought. But he also does workouts with Michael and has been.
Hmm.
I'm talking the
The,
BFR
the
band,
blood flow. Yeah.
yeah, everything. And then they arm wrestle afterwards.
Yeah.
When everything's all pumped, So he's
Okay.
got
So what you're telling me is if this stops, Corey West is probably in a good mood.
yes.
Okay. Um, Now we have Auden and the Korean Hulk. This is, in my opinion, a lot of people hating on this match, but I go on Reddit and everyone complains about everything on Reddit. Their comments are always people complaining. This is like, to me, one of the most interesting matches on the entire card. I am
Okay.
very curious.
So I was blessed to be able to have some pretty long discussions with Auden and with Jody. Well, with Jody and less with Auden. And I really feel like Auden has the capabilities to win this match.
Okay.
I just don't know what the strength gap might be because
Mhm.
to me, I don't follow um, the Korean Hulk. I don't follow him. So I don't know. My husband says that he has been in arm wrestling and national champ, whatever.
He's been like a little bit in arm wrestling for 15 years, but he's never
Okay.
been like into
So,
it from what I've seen.
but then if he's been in and out of it 15 years, then he is fluent on the table, should be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I really am leaning towards Auden if it comes down at all to technical capabilities.
For sure.
But
No.
if it is 100% in the strength realm, then I would go with the Korean Hulk.
I mean, like the way I see this match, it is the ultimate like techniques and leverage against strength.
Right.
It's like we have a foot height difference at least. Um, like I mean, Hulk is like benching like 310 kilograms or something. I mean, just like stupidly strong.
Yeah.
But if his wrist goes like this instantly, what's it all? And none of it even matters, right? So it's a very, very interesting match in my opinion. I personally think Auden will win just because I think he's too devious. He's going to take so much in that setup. He's got a crazy like I saw a picture of their levers, and I mean they're like this. I mean it's pretty crazy, and
Yeah.
their hands were like maybe like that size of difference, but I don't know. I mean it's possible.
Yeah. So, but to hear it from Jody and from Devin that Auden is even a better technician and understander, or has a better understanding of the sport and the techniques than even Devin does. So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see that match.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. It's the most extreme strength versus leverage match I think I've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
Maybe only rivaled by Barbora and Gabby Vasconcelos, if you remember that match.
Of course, I remember that match.
Yeah, 6'2", I think, versus like 4'11". I mean, that was fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm excited about seeing the rematch of that one as well.
I you know what's interesting too? For me, like we like there's right-handed and left-handed arm wrestling, right? And they're separate stories, and then this one's over here and this one's over here, and they sort of have some interwovenness, but they're kind of their own stories.
Uh-huh.
Women's arm wrestling to me is like an entire another story
Yeah.
because it operates completely independent of male arm wrestling.
Yes.
So for me, it's like I am just as excited for a women's match as a men's match because it has all of the same curiosities of this woman's on this trajectory, she's on this trajectory, they had this match and this happened, and the more you flesh out the story, the more each match gets interesting. So like right
Right.
now with Barbora and Gabby, they had a 3-2 match last time. Barbora looks like she's gotten better, and Gabby I heard was injured in her elbow before that match.
It was actually
Like
her wrist, but yes,
her wrist.
she's
Okay.
good now. She's
Yeah.
good now.
So
Yeah.
I am. I'm very, very, very keen to see that match. And like Barbora and Egla, I was so excited for. I thought Egla was going to win, and Barbora just decimated her, which made
It was
me, I was like,
shocking.
shit,
It was shocking.
she might
Everybody fucked
be
up. Yeah.
Levon levels of dominant in her class, no doubt. Um, okay, we got a little sidetracked there. Now we're gonna have Morozov and Camille. Now we've got it confirmed now. It will not be Morozov and Alex. And
I
a
yeah.
little additional detail. I know personally, I believe this match is the first match of the night, so Camille will be coming in fresh for this. And later on against Corey, he's gonna be a little bit tired, I suppose.
Yay! No, so, that's fantastic for us.
Yeah,
Um,
Corey's chances got a little better for sure.
yeah, so what do I think about that? I am so tomorrow night we're gonna or tomorrow at 5, I think. I think we're doing a live where Michael's gonna actually talk about that match. And he hasn't talked about it with me yet.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm very interested to hear what his take is on that match. Um, I really think that that is a coin toss. Morozov is very, very strong, of course, and he is technical. Now, Camille is much less technical, but he's very strong, and
He's very strong. Yeah.
we've already talked about how he sets up already in his press, left and right.
Uh-huh.
So it's hard for me to call the winner. I know it's really good for this household if Camille pulls off the win. Uh, you just cannot count out Morozov though, because he's fierce, you know.
Yeah.
I think he's got a meaner side than Camille does. So
And I mean, like, Morozov is an endurance monster. And I think Camille is quite the contrary. So I could see Camille running him over, but if it were to ever stop with I would assume on the losing side for Morozov, things could get dicey, just like the Michael Todd match. But I personally think Camille is gonna win it. I really do. And I'm so in the contrary when I say that. Like everyone like is so pissed off. It should have been Devin, all this stuff. I was like, dude, I think you guys are about to get real impressed by Camille. That's what I think.
oh, listen, I'm fixing to ask you a question.
Okay. I'm getting it flipped on me. Okay.
You are. Hey, this is going to put you on the spot.
All right.
I want to know how much money did you lose on Michael Todd versus Camille?
I lost $700.
Oh my God.
And you know the even worse part? I lost it to two people on a private bet. So I had individual people going like, "Why did you think Michael Todd was going to lose?" So not just that I lose $700, which already doesn't feel good. I made $400 that event. Had
Yeah.
I won that match, I made $1,800 that event. So that was the difference between it being a small profit or a very nice profit, right? But how did you even find out that I bet on that? Did Skylar tell you?
Yeah.
That son of a bitch. Okay.
So he looked at me and he said, you know, Henry, right? The guy with the memes. I was like, yeah, he was at, he goes, he just lost $500 on your husband.
Man, he gotta shut
Why
his
would
ass
he do
up,
that?
dude. Hey, he should have been telling you before the match instead of just bragging after he wins. Motherfucker. Hey, you know what? I'll add. Watch Devin and Levon. After Levon's fourth pin, you see his sorry ass walk over, giving me $100 and go back to his seat, and he goes, and he had $100 on Paul Lynn, I think. I had $100 on Rustum with him. So he's up
Oh,
300 against me. But
oh shoot.
and the promise I made I that I had to make to him is I go, give me an opportunity to win it back. We'll do a $301 bet and we're calling it even.
He
But
said he tried
yeah,
to get you to go 1,000 on Michael's match. And I
is
was like,
that
holy
I don't
crap.
think he maybe he did, maybe he did not, I don't remember. But I remember in that match I was thinking, I was just so impressed at. I think Camille might have been strong enough to press through, but Mike's hand control got him so to the point where he was like this, so he just couldn't press anymore. And that,
His
like,
arm might have been strong enough. His hand and wrist were not.
yeah,
And I don't even know that his arm was strong enough because the first thing that Michael said to me when he came over to the corner was, I've held stronger. And I was
yeah.
like, okay.
And that makes me feel a little better about Camille and Morozov to
Yeah.
know that, you know what, Michael Todd's just a strong motherfucker. This is not, this wasn't some fluke. Well, I kind of wish it was a fluke situation, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'll cut that part out, obviously. Okay. Now we've got Sergey and Georgi.
I just don't think that Kalinchenko will have enough mass to face Yorgi. I just
Okay.
don't see it happening. You know, I think Kalinchenko is a really, uh, I mean, obviously he's an awesome athlete, but I just don't think he's going to have what it takes to finish Yorgi.
Hmm. So, well, I've got $1,000 in this being a 4-0 for Georgi, so fingers crossed on that night, let me
Four to
tell you.
zero, 1,000?
I mean, I bet on arm wrestling like pretty seriously, I'd say,
See, we don't
which is
bet.
also like what is it? Michael Todd beating one of my bets is very rare. I've lost three bets total, and he's one of them. So yeah.
Uh, well,
Um,
sorry about that, kind of, but not really.
well, you
Okay.
know what? I'm gonna win some more when he beats Gennady because I have him against Gennady by a wide margin. Like I am
Really?
very confident that he'll beat Gennady. Yeah, because I think based on what I've heard, his training was not good for Gennady the first time, and that match was competitive if he climbed. So,
Yeah.
and like I think ever since Mike beat Camille, I'm drinking all of the Michael Todd Kool-Aid. Like I'm not saying he's going to beat Levon. He's going to beat Hermes, and he will face Levon. I really think he'll face Levon. I don't know how he will do against Levon. As a independent, unbiased predictor, I think Levon will probably beat him. But if he's 150 kilos and lean, that may be different. It's sort of hard to envision what
I'm going to tell
Michael
you,
Todd prepared for Levon looks like until I see
I'm
it.
going to tell
So
you this.
Casper Seneca versus Natalie and Verstov. If you know these guys, I don't know how familiar you may be with them.
I don't know them at all. I could not talk intelligently about it.
All right, fair enough. Okay, I added some extra matches in that are from the next events. Levon and Jerry.
Levon's going to win
Wow, okay. And what makes you so sure?
because I know Jerry and I know Levon. But yeah, Levon's going to win. Jerry's style, a lot of people are saying that his style is the style to beat Levon because of how Hermes did. Their presses are nothing the same.
Yeah.
Nothing the same.
And Hermes tired him out and then went for the press. It's a
Yeah.
little different.
Yeah, where Jerry is going to go straight at him. And again, it's because my husband and I have talked at length about this, right?
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, I hope Jerry proves me wrong. And I have been proven
I
wrong.
would love Jerry and Michael Todd for the world championship. That would be
Could
incredible.
not.
What?
Bite your tongue. I do not want that match.
As a fan, I would love Jerry
Oh,
and Michael Todd for the, honestly, stylistically, I almost think Michael Todd might do better against Jerry Carteret.
of course he
Typically,
will. He will beat Jerry. He will beat Jerry today. But understand that that is nothing new. Okay. People that I see also on Reddit and everywhere, they're like, WAL pads gave Michael the advantage. Michael didn't lose a single round to Jerry Carteret in a decade on 7x7s with stricter rules. It was
uh,
only once they went to the 8x9s of WAL, and the fact that Jerry could
you
set
tell
himself
him.
in the center of the table on the money that he was able to take rounds off and actually beat Michael the first time they got together.
Mhm.
Michael will beat him. He will beat him. He will beat him, and he will beat him worse.
The thing is, whenever Michael wins, there's always an excuse. There's always, it was this, it was this, it was this. Like anytime Michael wins a match. And
Yeah.
the same thing happens anytime Camille wins a match, which is why their match was interesting because I was like, who the fuck are they even going to blame? Anytime Camille wins, it's, oh, his shoulders weren't square. And anytime Michael wins, it's, oh, it's the stupid King's move. And I'm like, dude, everyone knows Michael Todd's going in the King's move. If you lose to it, that's on you. You can't play victim. You know what I'm saying? And the athletes never say anything. It's the fans at home that just like have a million and one excuses for their guy losing, I guess. I don't know, but I feel
Maybe.
like, and I personally I love watching flop pressers and I love watching King's movers. Like in my opinion, I think those are the most exciting matches, but people
Yeah.
just hate them.
So when I said I do not want that match, I mean, of course, that in my mind, that's a much easier match for Michael, but I want him to be able to face the person that has been drawn up since 2020. I
I
want
mean, I
it to,
think even since 2018, he's been the mythical creature.
I want it to be that matchup. The other matchup we've seen, I know how it's going to end.
So what
That's
you're
gonna-
telling me is, let's say Jerry destroys Levon 6-0. You'd still be like, Mike can beat Levon. Oh, no, no, no. Mike can beat Jerry. Apologies.
Yes, 100%.
You just think it's just such a stylistic issue.
Yes, 100%. But Michael actually has better range of motion now to the inside. You might even see him come out. He might tell me I'm crazy, but you might even see him go press for press against Jerry. And the thing is
That would
that
impress me.
he is only getting stronger. He is stronger today than he was when he faced Camille.
I mean, I'm sure he's only getting stronger. Going press for Jerry is a risky maneuver, but I mean, he did it with
Yeah,
Camille.
he'd do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying he would pull it off, but he might try.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
totally agree that he might try because I mean,
He
he's the
definitely gonna
guy
win
where he squeezed the juice, he squeezes the liquid from every rock. I mean,
every.
he will try absolutely every single move
He's gonna win.
instead of losing. I mean, he would do everything. So if he was down 3-0 and he got flash pinned in the first 3 rounds, he'd go, fuck it, I'll throw my shoulder at him, see what happens. I know he would. And then Devin and Oleg Petrenko.
I think Devin's gonna win.
You think Devin?
Devin's gonna win. I don't ever like bet against Devin, and I don't. When I say bet, I don't actually place money anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not bet against Devin for a second. In that match, the only time that I have doubted Devin's capability of winning was when he faced Levon. Or
Oh.
not, but it's
Hey, and
yeah,
you were right to doubt him against Michael Todd at least the first time. Or
yeah. That
in
was the second.
WAL. I think that was the second time, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the second time. So yeah, I think that Devin's going to pull that one off.
Actually, now I'm kind of curious. So their match at King of the Table 1 obviously did not go as planned.
Mm-mm.
Like, what happened? Like, was it just? I mean, Michael Todd said he was in such incredible shape. Was Devin really just that friggin' good that day, or was something off that day, or like, is there any explanation?
No excuses. Devin was definitely strong and on point, but there are times. Have you ever had an event or a competition or anything where you just didn't show up for whatever reason?
Absolutely. I
You just
mean,
didn't show
there's
up.
some days where you go to the gym and it's just not today.
It's just not there. Michael, for whatever reason, just didn't show up.
Hmm.
Just didn't show up. And that's not taking anything away from Devin's level
He
because
was good that day. I mean, there's no
he was
denying it.
292 pounds,
Yeah.
So he was definitely on point. But yeah, Michael, for someone to base where they think he is what they think he's capable of doing upon that match would be a mistake because
Yeah.
he didn't show up.
That's reasonable. I mean, and I think we can all see that when Mike turns around and, I think this next match was a close match against Rivas, I think. Um, and then there was also the match against Gennady where even though he
Gennady
lost
was
that,
first. Gennady
it
was
was
first.
Gennady. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Gennady
And
was
he was in that match with Gennady, even though he lost. I
yeah.
mean, so like when you see something like that, and then you see after that Devin and Gennady have a war, I think it's very, very clear that there was
See, we absolutely love the whole Georgian team. We have so much respect for them. And again, I really hate it when Michael pulls people that we really love.
uh-huh.
But Gennady paid him one of the biggest compliments, and it was after he faced Jerry, I think. Gennady told Michael, I was at my strongest and most prepared when I faced you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and that was after he pulled Jerry. So it
Now,
was
is that more so than the Devin? Oh, no, no, he hadn't faced Devin yet.
right, he hadn't faced him yet. So I don't know about it from moving on, but
Uh-huh.
that said a lot about the respect that he had for Michael and Michael's
Uh-huh.
level, you know. And
Yeah.
so I have no doubt that he's not that he's this time he is definitely going to come in the strongest and the most prepared he's been.
Really,
I
you
believe.
think? Even coming off an injury?
Do you think that those Georgians, I think that they're probably like the mean girls going, if you bring home a loss, you might as well not even come home. I'm sure that that's what they're saying to
Dude,
him.
like, I mean, they probably have him on everything in the laboratory back there to just get that bicep working again. I've got no clue what he's going to be showing up with. All
Yeah, I'm
right.
sure they've had him in mock super matches and stuff getting ready. So I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's
And I think where was it that I heard this? But it was some Gennady interview. Geez, where did I hear that? It might have been on Angen's stream. I don't know. But I think Gennady said at his best he was curling 90 kilos on biceps, and now he can do 80 kilos. And he's got like 6 weeks. So he's gonna be, I mean, he's gonna be right back there. I mean,
right back there.
this is not a pushover of a match. And I
Mm-mm.
also think like there's a deceptively easy path for Michael Todd to reach Lamont. I don't think people realize that he's 2 matches away and he's facing two people he's faced before, both coming off injuries. Like Michael Todd is like this close to Lavon.
He's probably going to have 3 matches though,
Oh yeah,
simply
because
because,
also this is one at King of the Table, right?
yeah, because if he has the opportunity to pull here in the United States, he's going to pull.
And
So,
is that confirmed for Vegas?
I don't think King of the Table is confirmed for Vegas. It's confirmed for the United States. I don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah, because I've heard, I mean, they put up a post that it was in California, and as someone who lives in LA, I was very excited. And then they said it was Vegas, and then I even heard it might be Florida. Like, I mean, I have no clue. But they have a post that says it's in California. Everyone's saying it's in Las Vegas, so I have no clue. But I will definitely be there. That's all I know. And I will probably be cheering on Michael Todd unless if I bet again a bunch of money against them and I lose again. That would be terrible. But I don't anticipate me betting against Michael Todd against anyone other than Levon. And I don't even know if I'd bet against him against Levon. I may just not participate at that point. Like
You'd be like, I'm not playing.
ever since the Camille match, I'm like a little bit traumatized about doubting Michael Todd. He handed my ass a bad loss that night.
$700
but
to do
but
it.
like, here's the thing. I'm such a fan. When I lost, I was just like, you know what? That was cool. Like, I was so happy to see Michael win that I didn't even care. I was like, you know what? That's rad. You know. And like, I felt the same way when like had Devin beaten Levon, I'm not worried about my money. I would have been like, you know what? That was super cool.
Yeah.
So like, it's always I'm a fan, and then I care about the money. Of
Yeah.
course, it's nice to win, but if I lose, like when John beat Leonidas, I think I had like I don't know. I think I had 700 on Leonidas too. I was having such a great time watching that match. I was just like,
That
it's
was a
okay.
great match. That was a
Yeah.
great match. Yeah.
It was just, I was so happy to see things go down. So it was just fine. All right, let's call it here and then we'll go to the match review now.